look at that. It snowed overnight. And it's winter back again. Although, unfortunately, probably not for long. I'm afraid it's gonna melt in the upcoming days because it's gonna be too warm. But yeah, it's beautiful. And hopefully there's gonna be some more snow in the second half of February. It's gonna get colder and it's gonna snow some more and it's gonna last. But it's awesome, yeah. And how the scenery changed, you know. Like, I mean, if you look at yesterday's video and you're looking at today's, it's incredible. It's just a little bit of snow, you know, not much, but it makes wonders. It does wonders, yeah. And listen, no wind, like zero, you know. Yesterday was raging crazy, and today it's just stillness, you know. Nothing's moving at all. Wonderful. Of course, Drake went straight to the feeding spot. Hey, cool. I'll call him just to be sure there's no foul play, but I'm afraid he's not coming in. Okay, no, cool. Thought he's already eating something. All right. Well. Let's just, you know, do a quick checkup with these things. Yeah. To no one's surprise, the doe is still here. All three of the does are still here. Yeah. Yep. And just the grain is gone. I'm not even gonna lower it, you know. But yeah, all the three does are there. No one baked the bread overnight. What a surprise. Yeah, I was just joking in the description of the last video that perhaps the gamekeepers are trying to inspire the animals and the fauna of the woods to found a bakery. You know, they're like giving them like ready to bake bread and dough, I mean, and they're like, you know, don't you wanna bake this beautiful, ready to go, pre-made dough for bread? And yeah, clearly the animals are not responsive to that, so I guess they're gonna have to bake it themselves at some point. And Drake found something, I think. Draco! Tady jdeme! I gotta call him, otherwise he's gonna snatch a bone or something. Pretty sure he would find some leftover there. Good boy! Now we're hearing how Drake's munching his snack, but hold on. Hear that? Yeah, this. It's like... Yeah, this particular call is a nuthatch. It is... nuthatch is actually an interesting bird. I mean, they're all interesting, obviously, you know. But nuthatch is... yeah, that one, again. That right there is a nuthatch. And nuthatch is the only bird, especially at least, you know, in here in this region, in this country, it's the only bird that is climbing trees with his head like down, like upside down, you know. None of the other birds do that. They always climb up with their head pointing upwards, but he actually he can also do that, obviously, but he climbs also with his head down, you know. It was with his head facing ground, and he can climb down that way, which is interesting. That's his like specialty, so to speak. And he's the nuthatch is also interesting in a way that it's a species that has a wide range of calls. You know, this was one of the specific ones, but there's a ton of other ones that are actually not really easy to not really hard to like figure out or learn. You know, it always sounds kind of like, I don't know, it reminds to me like sort of like I'd say like an alarm of a car or something. It's very, very distinctive, very sharp, very loud, usually like with a high BPM. You know, it's like, it's very fast paced. Wow, look at that. Beautiful. Yeah, it's very, oh wow, and it's pretty slippery too. So it's very fast paced, very sharp, very loud, you know, like an alarm. It reminds me of an alarm of a car, you know, or like different types of like security alarms maybe or something. And it's a kind of bird that is like resembles woodpeckers really, but it's a songbird. And one interesting thing that they do also is that they use cavities for nesting. So they nest inside cavities inside trees, in the holes that, you know, usually that the other woodpeckers dug for them, you know, like a bore for them, you know, drill for them. So they use these cavities, you know, once they are abandoned, they go in there and make their nest there. So no, they're not creating those cavities themselves, although they're pretty capable in like you know, working with like dead wood as well, I would say, you know, but they don't have the equipment, let's say, to create a huge cavity and a deep cavity. It's just not in their repertoire. I was gonna say repertoire. Jesus Christ, I broke my back on that word. Repertoire, I was gonna say. So yeah, and there are other, you know, many other species that are actually dependent on woodpeckers to create the nest, the nest opportunities for them, nesting opportunities. So there are a lot of species that really rely on the woodpecker to come in, bore the hole, create the cavity, you know, as a carpenter, and then take that cavity as their own, you know. And what the nuthatch is doing is that they go inside that, like inside a cavity, and they adjust the entrance hole to that cavity with mud. They actually line the entrance with mud, you know, that hardens, just like house martins or swallows are doing with their nests. They're using the same technique, but they're just lining the entrance to that nesting cavity to make it smaller, so that it's more safer for them, so that predators can get in and snatch their eggs or chicks, or endanger them, you know. So they're making it smaller with mud. And that's how, when you walk in the woods, that's how you can tell apart a nesting cavity of a nuthatch from other nesting cavities of, like, I don't know, for instance, tits or woodpeckers, you know, because there is this muddy lining to the entrance, and yeah, it's very clever, very effective, I would say, and also a great identifying tool for us, or a sign for us that tells us, oh, there's a nuthatch living in this particular cavity. So that was just an interesting fact about nuthatches. And nuthatch is in Latin Sitta Europea, and I hope I didn't didn't blew that one, just like I did the J. But it's, yeah, definitely Sitta, and it's Sitta Europea. It's what I remember. But, you know, I'm a little rusty when it comes to Latin names, because I haven't been using them for, dear God, I don't know, 2 years, maybe 3 years. It's still there, you know. I still recall most of them, but some of them are kind of like, you know, I remember them a little differently. I just remember how they sounded, and I kind of, you know, sometimes say something like Glandarius where it's Glandarius, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna correct myself in the subtitles again if I said it wrong. So yeah, that is a nuthatch, a European or Eurasian nuthatch. Yeah, because there are many different species of nuthatches, some in America, some in Asia. So this is and I'm not actually sure how they differ in terms of, like, in terms of their life habits, you know. I don't know, maybe they're very, very similar, and maybe not. I really don't know, but this is how nuthatches do their thing in this country, in Europe at least. So yeah, it was a nice little encounter. Man, I'm loving this. Like, if you stop for a moment, like, the stillness of it. Damn, it's like, it's so pleasant, you know. Especially after multiple, like, I think it was a week when it was windy as hell every single day, and all of a sudden it just stops, and it's like somebody gave you a hug. I don't know, it just feels like, or someone, I don't know, it feels so, like, so good. Yeah. And obviously the wind has its own, like, charm as well, in a way, but this is just amazing. Man, I love it. Yeah. And it also, the snow actually also gives us the opportunity to see the various tracks of animals and various, like, you know, paths that they're using. For instance, here, see how beautifully there is this, like, crossing, sort of, and one path goes that way, one path goes that way. You can actually see that without the snow too, but it gets, like, highlighted when it snows. You know, there's another path here that I honestly didn't know about, and it goes all the way there, you know, and here there are multiple crossings, you know, like we usually go the main road, the main path, but there's actually one there, and there's one there, you know. So that gives you a sort of a, you know, a taste of sort of cartography of various different animals, like what kind of paths are they using, you know. And also, of course, you can see many tracks. Not here though, because they're usually using the paths So, and the tracks that they're going through, so, and now it's melted, so you can't see anything really. But out on the meadow, there are many tracks, you know, many different tracks of different sorts of animals that you would normally not see. You would see probably droppings, maybe a print in the mud, but when it snows, it's all out there, you know. It's like a cheat sheet sort of to tracking. That's also very interesting when that happens, when there's a snowfall. So, yeah. That was a nice walk today. Very nice. Drake found something. Co máš, Drake'u? What is it, Drake? Oh, yeah. Whenever I see him hovering over, look at that, he hears something. What is it, Drake? Have you found the Holy Grail? Have you found the secret headquarters of Knights of the Cross with the Red Star? Are they down there, having their secret rituals? I love how he's tilting his head. Wow. It's like a fox. Drake'u, nech je. No, nech je. Jo, pojď. Pojď, Drake'u. No. No, shoop, shoop. Yeah, I don't like when he's, you know, hunting rodents. I always tell him, nah, leave them alone, man. They want to have their own peace too. You know, I wanna, you know, live a stress-free life like you do. So I'm always trying to botch his attempts to catch anything. Like usually, like this in the forest, it's guaranteed he's not gonna catch anything. Outside on the fields or on the garden, it's not that guaranteed. So, like historically, I thought he's not gonna catch anything. There's no chance, and he actually did. So, I'm more careful now. I'm more careful now whenever I see him, you know, scouting some rodents. I'm like trying to step in and, you know, botch his attempt to catch anything. So yeah. But yeah, he's surprisingly effective in that regard. I would expect that, you know, a dog wouldn't really be, and especially three-legged dog. I would expect the cat would be the kind of animal that would be very effective in that, but apparently dogs are too, at least some breeds. So yeah, I'm gonna sign off now.